B here once again, and I'm gonna talk to you about how to get your PRs reviewed and merged. So yeah, let's just start. Yeah, so I spent a lot of time actually working with Hacktoberfest PRs. I've actually had a great time. I know there's been a lot of controversy around spam on Hacktoberfest, and I only had one spam PR, and it was actually I'll just show it right here. Hey friends, this video is going to be probably one of the videos I've been wanting to make for the longest time. It's something that comes up a lot while I'm streaming live on Twitch every Tuesday and Friday, but also this comes up just generally. I spent a lot of time this month speaking at Hacktoberfest events, which I've really enjoyed. If you want to check out my junior developer AMA, which is also on this channel, definitely check out that video. That was part of the Hacktoberfest month. And what I'm getting at is, one question that comes up is, how do I get my stuff reviewed? How do I get my PR merged? How do I know what to work on? And this video is going to cover that. I'm just going to jump right in and say the first tip is read the manual. So if there's a contributing MD, you should be reading the contributing MD. In my project, I have a contributing MD, and it actually outlines how do you assign yourself to issues. It actually outlines what you should be doing before you actually jump into a pull request. And then how do you create a pull request? I recommend people fork from the main branch. I recommend people create a descriptive branch too as well. This is helpful because then I can basically get an eye on what's actually being worked on. And then I also highly recommend people add visual changes, and I recommend people add screenshots to their projects as well. Sometimes this is overlooked, especially if you're changing UI. I need to see what's changed, what's broken, what should I be looking at when reviewing this PR. If I don't have that context or that content, then I don't know what to do with it. I'm actually sitting on a great PR right now, but at the moment I don't have a way to test it unless I merge it into the main branch. And sometimes that can be scary, though I'm pretty confident that this code itself is going to work. Here I've got a changelog that one of my contributors created for me. I want to be a way to have a way to keep all my changes all in one document, and that's what we have here. And we're having this run through automation and through a semantic versioning tool that a lot of projects are actually that use a lot. But I bring this up because I don't have a way to test it. So what I've been doing and sitting on this for the past 12 days, because I haven't had time to sit down and test it. So read the manual, read the contributing MD, identify ways that you can make this PR easily read, as well as make it easy for the maintainer to just jump right in and review your PR. A lot of times what happens on the teams I've worked on, the first thing you do is you take your PR once you've created it and you throw it in the Slack or the Discord and you say, hey, my PR is ready to review, please review it. And I highly recommend don't doing that. I highly recommend this mention people or assign people using the assignee. So you can see I've got 2 reviewers on this PR. Let the tools inside the GitHub do the work. So let the reviewers that get attached to it do the work here. And within the code orders file, you can make sure that this person always gets assigned to the code. You can, I haven't set this up properly yet, but you can actually set up the code owners file to, if a file changes in a certain folder, that could be that person that gets assigned to it and be the code owner. I would say the other thing is fill out the template. So if there's a pull request template and you ignore it, that's a really good way for you to not get your stuff reviewed. The pull request template, which I have here, it's really there as a guide. It's usually there to help me review the code and understand what's happening. If I have a PR that's been open and has no description and has no issue or it has no documentation, it has nothing, it just has changes, I don't know what context to provide to bring into a review. Also, I fear if I have other contributors who want to know what happened in the history of the Git, to figure out why this was changed, why this is broken now, and they go to the PR that was merged and it has no context, no information, I will not merge that because I don't have the time to go and explain why this change happened and what was the reasoning behind it if you don't have the history there for me. And as much as I want that history, I don't want to write it out myself if you made the change. So having a description is paramount to getting your PR merged because someone's going to ask why this change happened. And if no one can explain why because someone forgot to add the description, then it's on you. So I always push back with stuff like that. I have in my PRs actually do have a save reply to please add more description. This will be helpful for the changelog. And so I usually reject PRs that look like that. So filling in the template, if you didn't know as well, I just want to pull out that if you created a file called a pull request template, pull request template.md inside of your .github folder, the .github folder is going to be the place where a lot of these secret features for GitHub live. This would be like GitHub Actions and code owners that I mentioned before, as well as issue templates. I have issue templates as well that I also highly recommend, which for some reason PRs always have issues with. Issue templates, people fill them out. I don't know what the difference is, but I highly recommend, please fill out the pull request template. I think this actually came from, this template itself came from Dev2. Dev2 actually had a common way to, common PR templates to leverage. So if you don't know what to put in your templates, if you're maintaining a project, just check out Dev2. They've got a lot of really good content there and good examples for how to maintain code. So finally, if you get to the point where you have a PR and you need to provide a description, I always recommend use the format, which is SCQA. I created an entire video on this channel about this. I highly recommend, if you've never heard of SCQA, you should just check out that video. I'm just gonna tack it on the end of this video here. But setting up your description in a way where people can understand what's happening, understand what problem you're solving, give all that context there, so that way anybody in the changelog, anybody in the history looking into what broke, why this change was merged, leverage that, copy right here in the description, leverage the issues. If you don't know about linked issues, definitely check that out. I'll probably do a whole video on linked issues in the future. But yeah, with that being said, I'll break this down in 4 different sections. This is the way I break everything down with an acronym, which is SCQA. And SCQA stands for situation, complication, question, and answer. So if you have those 4 concepts in your pitch, you're pretty much gold.